he used to last year. But it is a playoff edition of the Morning Huddle here from First Financial Bank. Brian Hewlett, the athletic director, head football coach, joins us. And, Coach, we're going to talk a little bit of playoff football in a little bit. But first, let's talk a little bit about last week and the win over Clyde here at Maverick Stadium.
Yeah, we defeated Clyde 25-16, I guess, to close out district, in regular season 10-0 and win district, third time in a row to win district undefeated. And, I really don't think, even me included and everyone, understands and appreciates how truly difficult that is to go, 18 district games in a row with, especially at a small school when you can run across injuries easier or just one kid being gone or this or that, and just the total toll that takes on you over an extended period of time, So I was very proud of our kids to be able to close that out the other night.
What a difference 28 seconds makes. We score, I think, a 55-yard pass play to Matt Majors, puts us in the end zone. The very next play from scrimmage, they snap it over to quarterback's head. We get a safety in the end zone after the free kick. Another big pass play to Matt Majors gets us inside the 5-yard line, and Sammy takes it in from there. And that's 25-16, and that all happened in a matter of about 28 seconds.
Yeah, we for whatever reason, and I think first reason you got to say is we played two quality opponents back to back in Comanche and Clyde. We've started off not necessarily just horribly, but started off and played from behind. Coach Cav's talking to our kids yesterday after practice, and he said, "All right, y'all proved that you can do that. We're okay with playing from the front for a while." So, that was something that we just couldn't get ahead of those suckers, man, and just had to keep fighting. And then they unfortunately had an injury and put a backup in, and we saw it and took that opportunity to throw at him and got a big play. And Matt made something happen and ended up taking it in from 50 or 60 or whatever, and then they had the mishap, and then we went right back at the very next play and tried to go back at it the third time, but they moved their other corner over there. So, it's just kind of one of those things is that whole injury thing we led into happened, probably as much as anything, the loss of one player by them kind of turned the tide at that moment.
Now, one thing that, we haven't had to do a whole lot of recently is ball control. In the fourth quarter, we pretty much just tried to run the clock and keep the ball in our hands and did a great job of that. I think they got it back with a little under 2 minutes left in the ball game, no timeouts left, and J.D. Coffey picks off his second of the game. Actually, it was J.D. had two, but Gosnell got the last one to seal the deal.
Yeah, we've been doing okay with that. We had to play without a kid last week that we really go into clock killing mode. We like to use him as well, or I don't know if I should just say clock killing, but as short yardage first down mode as well. So you got to manage that with how you do it, with what kids you got on the field. So when we're doing it with some other kids on offense, but they're starters on defense, and so you just don't want to. As you watch the game, sometimes you might say, "Why aren't you doing that all the time?" or this or that. It's just kind of the balance of being multiple, spreading it around, run past this kid, that kid, and just doing everything. But we finally got it going there, and kind of could have pushed the envelope a little more to score again, I think. But just like you said, we felt comfortable with the 2-touchdown lead or 2-score lead, and just with the clock running down, trying to finish that thing out and get out of there with the win, district championship, no more injuries. And I made a bad call where they wouldn't have got it back. I thought we got the third and one, and we could have ran off another 40, 45 seconds, but I had to sprint up to the ball and snap it, and they only had one timeout. I thought we caught them, we hit them with the 10-yard gain, and they were walking back, and I thought we could just get up there and get them and get it, and the game would have been over. We get up there, and if we didn't get it, it's going to be 4th and 2, 4th and 3. They're going to use their last timeout. We're going to go for it and hopefully put it away. But, man, it's just a horrible call, and we missed one guy, and he throws us for a 7-yard loss. So not only do we not kill 40 seconds, we don't get the first down, and now they call timeout, and we have to punt it back to them. So really regret that. But our kids did a good job and stopped them for maybe 2 or 3 plays and got the pick and were able to run out the clock.
Something that I've seen throughout the season, that the defense seems to be getting better and better each week. We had the fake punt that didn't work in the first half. That could have been a crucial turn of events there if the defense didn't come up with a big stop right after that.
Yeah, really, that's kind of, we had a huge miscommunication on that thing, and if you go back and look, there's just, it was just a debacle, we didn't get anything communicated, what we were trying to do there, and then, defensively, we came out, we playing okay, just give up a huge play. Clyde really played with an extremely fast tempo, and not that we weren't ready for it or knew they would do it, it just, caught us off guard with, one time, and with it, they take it 60, 70 yards for put us behind. Well, we ended up giving up another touchdown in there, and from the first play of the second quarter on, really didn't give up much, and played super, and so they take that ball over on our own 35-40, and we go 3 and out them, and that was a big turning point in the game to not let it go. I guess 16-6 that time still,
yes. Yeah.
And that could have turned into 23-6, and to keep it where it was, and get it to half at, I guess, 16 to, I don't remember what it was, 16 to 10 or so.
16-10 at half. We kicked the
yeah,
field
16
goal.
to 7 at that time. Yeah, so to keep
Kick
it
the
where
field
it
goal.
was and get that field goal and get it back into one score was big.
And knowing that we had the ball coming out in the second half.
You always got to think about that and realize that, and kind of goes into how we think about those things is obviously style of play of both teams, what we want to do, but I always think about the weather and the wind above all on those situations. If you got a particularly windy night, generally if you can get that to where you defer, got that option for the second half, you're going to get the ball to start the second half, and then most teams are going to kick with the wind, so what you turn around and get the win the fourth quarter. And in high school, that's a bigger deal than a big-time college or NFL leg and arm where they can throw into the wind just as well. So, and that goes for both sides, your offense and your defense. So that's always important, and we knew we had the ball to start the second half. Although we went 3 and out with it, we felt good about getting that last field goal and making it a one-score game.
Coach, how big is it to have a couple of guys that we were without for a good part of the season in Carlton as well as Majors? How important was it to get them back in the last 2 weeks to get them ready for the playoffs?
Oh, it's real important. I think you saw Matt make a big jump this week from the previous week. He was really banged up the Comanche game, and wasn't extremely useful, if you will, not just because of his injuries, and made a huge leap last week. And Zach's the same way. It's just that Zach had such a longer setback, and when he's in a boot for a full month, that just not puts that one body part in an injury, puts your whole body, because there's no conditioning, there's no work, you're walking around at same way a 75-year-old grandfather walks around all day. Your level of work just isn't there, and so it's taken him some time, and he's still got a little ways to go, but man, it's nice to have him back. I know that.
And you mentioned that earlier in the conversation we came out of this game healthy.
Yeah, we're pretty good. I'll tell you a funny story about injuries. I was talking to Coach Gillespie this past Saturday, head coach at Stephenville, and his son, a backstory, his son started for him last year in the second play of the state finals, broke his foot. He just had a whole bunch of setbacks through the spring, through track season, through the summer, 7-on-7. So I asked the backstory, and I asked Coach Gillespie Saturday, y'all healthy? He goes, 100% healthy. I said, well, good. And I said, well, how's your son doing? He goes, well, he's got a broke wrist and a torn labrum, but he's in there fighting and doing good. And his point to that was at this time of year, a broke wrist and a torn labrum and getting on the field is 100% healthy. And I just think the thought in there is no one's 100% healthy at this time. It's if you can get out there and play, you can go. And so we're banged up in an area or two, but no better, no worse than anyone else, I would think.
And nothing major. It's keeping
nothing major. It's keeping somebody on the sidelines. That's the most important thing.
All right, Coach, we're going to go ahead and take our first break, and when we come back, I want to recap the JV and junior high seasons a little bit with how they did. We'll take a 2-minute break. You're listening to the Morning Huddle here on KTX Sports. KTX 97.7, and Coach, the junior high and the sub-varsity seasons have come to an end, but you've moved a lot of those, or several sub-varsity players up to the playoff roster?
Yeah, football being unique in a lot of things, it's the only time of year, particularly in a small school, and big schools can have spring ball, where you can get some bonus or extra practice in, and this has been proved vital for us in the last few years to go ahead and keep pads on and keep working your kids out through the playoffs because it's legal and you get to do it. So, that's what we talk to our kids about, and they understand it. And this group of seniors is the first group that got to do it as sophomores and practice an extra 4 or 5 weeks, and then we're explaining to them that you're preparing for your senior season right now. And so, although we won't get to suit them all up in the games, and not every one of them come back every day after school, we get an extra practice or two in during the period during the week, and we get a practice or 2 or 3 with some of them in after school. And actually this Monday we went out to the stadium and took them all and just divided them up on teams and scrimmaged. And they had a blast and got after it, and there was mud and blood and sweat and everything. It was fun, it was exciting, and they enjoyed it. So we'll suit up as many as we can. We got 44 jerseys, and we'll suit up 44 kids, and hopefully let them all have the experience. And if we get the opportunity, we'll use as many of them in the game as we can.
Coach, the junior high programs, they have come to an end. I guess they're back in basketball now?
Yep, they've got going. We let the all-season guys kind of have a fun week, just sort of relaxing a little, us playing football and just having fun with it. As a junior high kid, it's a long year, and attention spans aren't quite as long, and so you can wear them out doing certain things. So, but basketball's got going with those kids, and the other guys are out there in all season.
Coach, some playoff games played. Well, before we get to those, let's talk about some results from the district last week. Breckenridge 41, Dublin 24.
Yeah, probably as would be expected. Breckenridge is playing really good football right now. They've had that murderous non-district schedule. Ended up losing two linemen. A second receiver, which both play defensive back, and then probably most important is all their quarterbacks. So they were without a hefty bit of their seniors and starters, and got some of them back, got a lineman back, I think got one receiver back, and definitely got their quarterback back, and they're really on a roll right now.
And Comanche 26, Gymnet 18.
Yeah, a little closer score than I probably would have expected. Several things go into that. I think you playing on the road, Comanche's third game after a tough back-to-back emotional losses to us and to Clyde. Gymnet's still fighting for the playoffs, but from what I understand, Comanche had the ball down inside the 10 or 15 3 or 4 times and ended up not getting in, but found a way to win that one that they've been looking for 3 weeks to get them in. So happy for those guys.
And Cisco 61, Ballinger 7.
Yeah, I don't know if an extremely tough district, but Cisco playing at a high level and really didn't have any problem with Ballinger. I think they're a 4th place team.
Now, one of the things that we've talked about going to the 4 teams in the playoffs, it did create some interest in Week 10 that maybe wouldn't have been there if there had only been 3 bids, because in our district, everybody was mathematically still alive, with the exception of Merkel going into Week 10.
And they weren't playing.
Yeah,
they already had their bye. So, yeah, it does. I think, I know there's so many people that say, I just wish they'd go back to 1 team or just go back to 2 or, now let's go back to 3. And I understand. I'm not on either side of the fence, really, but just the fact of if you're going to have 4, I think the positive out of it is you got people playing into Week 10 and, getting the opportunity, and makes it better for those coaches and those kids.
And another aspect of that, sort of like Breckenridge, if you have a team that has some big injuries early in the season and they still have a shot to make it, they might be one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the district if they're healthy, but they don't have the health in the early part of the season, they can still come back and battle it and maybe even claim that 4th place spot.
Yeah, even like a Brady team we're playing tonight's got 2 kids that are going to play that hadn't played in the last 3 or 4 weeks. So, just getting in, you never know, and so that is a good point.
Okay. Also, Coach, taking a look at the region, we have 4 teams in the playoffs. I'm thinking 3 of them could advance in this first round. We had one of the tougher districts from top to bottom, I think, in the region.
It's hard to compare, in my opinion, because our region is so spread out. We don't crisscross with obviously District 1 or 2. We can with District 4, but so many of them, Walls down by San Angelo, Comfort, Great Creek's down by San Angelo, and Comfort, Ingram, Moore down by San Antonio. So you really don't have a whole lot of crisscross in there, and so it's hard to compare them. But yeah, I would say just from playing them, I would say this is the toughest district we've had in the last 3 or 4 years, especially from top to bottom.
Right, the top 4 or 5 teams is all very, very good.
Well, in the 5th, 6th, and 7th one are more, in the past we've always had 1 or 2 that just really, are on down times and struggle to just put anything competitive out there, and that wasn't the case at all this year.
Then you look at our 3rd place team, Merkel, or Comanche rather, 2-3 plays away from being district champions.
Very easily, and so it's just tough district.
Some playoff action last night. Bushland gets a win 49-22 over Slayton.
Slayton's an athletic team, but Bushland is really good offensively. They got a 6'5", 6'6" quarterback that I know a whole bunch of colleges are looking at. He's moving into the top 20, 25 Texas all-time, all classification passing records. He's been playing for a while now, and I know he's something special.
Idalou wins 20-0 over Children's.
Yeah, interesting. I don't know enough about her. I know Idalou's always very competitive and very good. Early in the year, rumor was they're down a little bit, and with that, Childress supposedly has a bunch of really good athletes. But they shut them out. It's just 20-0 Idalou, and so I don't know where all that. Once again, not seeing them, I don't know, and they're on the far side of the bracket, and to get to us, it'd be a whole nother month, and so I really had to take the time to look into them.
We set some coaches up to watch these 2 games. Littlefield 44, Brownfield 36.
Really impressed the 2 teams. I know both teams got, Littlefield's got 2 running backs that are special. One of them had 230 yards last night, and the other one had 125 on 10 carries. And they got the win against a pretty competitive Brownfield team.
And Denver City beats Muleshoe 41-21.
Denver City's a 10-0 team. Been rolling along all year. Muleshoe's kind of in somewhat of a rebuilding year. It's a 14-14 game at half, and from what I understand, Denver City kind of figured they were the bigger, stronger team, and came out and ran the ball quite a bit the second half.
All right, Coach, we're going to take our final break here on the morning huddle, and when we come back, we will talk about the Brady Bulldogs and some other playoff games happening tonight and tomorrow. You're listening to the Morning Huddle on KTX Radio. To the Morning Huddle here on KTX 97.7. Terry Slavens, Coach Brian Hewitt with you. And, Coach, we have the Brady Bulldogs and playing them in Brownwood tonight. Remind everyone earlier kickoff, 7 o'clock, and an expanded pregame show. We're going to go on the air at 6 o'clock tonight rather than our normal 30-minute pregame. We'll have an hour pregame, and you can catch that on 97.7. But Brady, and we're back to Gordonwood Stadium. Not real fond memories from the last time we were there, hoping to erase those.
Yeah, and you get into that, I don't know, if you play or coach long enough, you're going to lose in quite a bit of stadiums. So, that really doesn't get into it, doesn't factor into it too much with me. You look at location, facility for your kids. Of course, you want it nice for your fans as well, but, we got to take care of our kids first, and adding that 4th team, as we've been discussing all day, man, it's put a whole lot of emphasis on finding stadiums. I know yesterday up in the Panhandle, they started games on 4 o'clock on Thursday.
Wow.
Going all through the weekend just because they're having to double and triple up just to find places to play.
Tell us a little bit about Brady. What have you seen on film?
Brady is, when everybody reads the paper or the internet or whatever, you look and you see 4 and 6, and so you think, 4th place team at 4 and 6, and what that 4 and 6 doesn't tell you is they're been extremely injured throughout the year, and also to tell you there's 6 losses. Their 6 losses have come to 6 teams that are in the playoffs. 3 of them are district champs. One of them's a 9-1 3A Fredericksburg team. One of them's a 9-1 Sonora district champion team that only lost to Wall. One of them's obviously 10-0 Wall. One of them's a Bangs team that's got a loss to Wall, and one of them's Comfort that's got a loss to Wall and Bangs. and then the 6 loss is to Comanche. So, you know, you don't realize that they're a 46-14 opponent's record team that could have been 51-9 if they weren't playing each other.
Right.
So it's not like they haven't played anybody and lost. They're a really good football team.
Defensively, what are they going to show us?
Speed and quickness, and a little more speed and quickness along the way. They're young and they're athletic. They got a couple of brothers, I think, that are twins. Last year, freshmen, the track season ran at 10-9 in the 100, and then that's just kind of started off. You know, they play. They're empty on offense, running the wing tee from the spread. A lot of people call it spread tee. So you're gonna have shifts and motion, guards pulling all over, guys going this way and that way. They've just got athletes all over the place. They're an odd front team. They're going to not sit back with it. They're going to stay too high, but they're going to roll with them, and they're going to bring people off the edge. They're going to bring multiple people. They're going to drop 8 at times, and, you know, just honestly a scary team to be facing first round playoffs.
And I know the coaching staff has put in a lot of extra hours this week preparing for that Brady team.
Yeah, there's just a lot of other 4th place, 4 and 6 teams I think I'd rather play, you know, and I'm sure if you put one of those in front of us, I'd say the same about them. But, you know, just, I mean, it's a good team. You go look at their three of their 4 wins have been by a huge margin. And their 4th win is a game where they just hardly had anybody playing because of injury, and you know, and beat a pretty quality team. So, you know, we got to play better than we've been playing, although we've been playing good teams, but we still got to elevate our level of play, continue to take care of the ball. We got to tackle better, and we got to run the ball better on defense.
Coach, let's take a look at some of the other playoff games. Comanche at Bangs, that's being played in early.
Yeah, one of those things where, you know, if you were asked me, I'm not going to, I'd have to flip a coin to decide, you know. You got a Comanche team that's obviously going to try to grind it out and run the ball. And then you got a Bangs team that's going to rely on a really superb quarterback, J.T. Newton. He can run all over the place. He's got a huge arm, some athletes. It's just one of those things, I think, who gets ahead early and controls the ball. If Comanche gets ahead and doesn't have turnovers, you know, I think they can come away with the victory. Stanton plays Cisco at Sweetwater. Yeah, I imagine Cisco would win very handily, but I don't know a darn thing about Stanton. I can't tell you.
You haven't had time to do any research on
I
those?
know they're a 4th place team, and Cisco's really good. So I would bet that's a one-sided show.
Comfort at Clyde, that one being played at in Bangs at Dragon Memorial Stadium.
The same thing we just talked about Comanche Brady, but flipped to our district. You know, Clyde, a team that's going to spread it out and throw the ball around. A Comfort team that, from what I understand, is one of the biggest teams that people have ever seen. Several 300-pounders, several more in that 250 to 280 range. Going to try to grind it out. And, you know, a deciding factor in there is Comfort's got a kicker that's kicked a 67-yard field goal this year.
Wow.
In the game. And any time they're around the 50, they're in point potential, and you know that's a big advantage to have.
That's a huge advantage. Finally, one of our district teams that's in action, it'll be tomorrow afternoon at Buckaroo Stadium as Breckenridge hosts Wall.
Yeah, you know, Coach Freeman got Wall into a flip. You know, he's doing whatever he can to take care of his kids, and obviously that's his job. You know, I thought the best way to do that was get Wall out of their rhythm and make them do something that they normally don't do, and so they ended up going for a Thursday in Wall or a Saturday in Breckenridge flip, and Breckenridge won it. Obviously, Wall, I'm assuming, just by their record and the rolling people up, are an extremely talented team. And but you know, honestly, Breck's playing well, so you know you got to play the game and see how it turns out.
No travel for Breckenridge, sleep in your own bed, get up early.
It could be interesting, or you could just upset them real bad, and they could show up in a bad mood.
Yeah, never know what might happen.
We'll see, huh?
All right, Coach, good luck to you tonight down at Gordonwood Stadium. It's Brady Bulldogs, the opponent, and you can listen live. We want to encourage you to come down to Brownwood, but if you can't make it, tune in to KTX 97.7 and listen to the broadcast pregame once again. 6 o'clock, actually, getting ready to go record an interview with Trent Britton, who's coming off a big win against ACU last week, the big card at work. And also, we have a Dallas Cowboy ticket winner And I'm thinking that, it says Rosa, I'm assuming that's Rosa Cervantes.
I'm
not
assuming
sure.
it is too, as well.
So I think she's been here once and she won, so.
Good odds right there.
That's sort of like the winner last year. Anyway, we're running out, we ran out of time. We're gonna say goodbye and say hello to you from Gordon Wood Stadium in Brownwood. Thanks to my guest Brian Hewlett. Thanks my engineer back in the studio, Matthew Householder. Thank you for your time this time. Till next time, I'm Jerry Slavens. Have a fabulous weekend, everyone.